What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review of AEW All Out 2021. And fam, bruh, that final, 10, 15 minutes after the main event, or however long it was probably some of the greatest 15 to 20 minutes or 10 minutes, however long it was, I've seen in my entire time of watching professional wrestling. That was fucking awesome. We legit witnessed history today, ladies. Not only from seeing the return of the best in the world, the leader of the straight edge society, for the OGs that remember that shit. The second leader of the Nexus. the best in the world, CM Punk. We witnessed his return to wrestling after 7 long years out of the ring. And the man did not miss a single goddamn step. He looked phenomenal. You have that. Then you have the main event, which was great in its own right, where we see not only, ladies and gentlemen, the return of Adam Cole, baby, which, let's be real, this spills the death of NXT if it wasn't already dead already once the news dropped of Vince and Bruce are now going to be running it instead of Triple H. NXT is dead. If it wasn't dead before, it sure as shit is now. And then, to end the night, we saw the return of my man, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. I'm probably never going to call him that. I will probably always call him Daniel Bryan because that's what I've known him as for the past 10 fucking years. I will probably always call him Daniel Bryan because that's what he is to me. He is Daniel Bryan. I always thought that sounded better than Bryan Danielson if you ask me. But whatever, we are now, that is neither here nor there. So yeah, man, because of those massive reveals, you also saw Ruby Riott make her return during the Women's Battle Royal as well. This might actually be the best AEW show ever. I feel like you can probably be different for some of the other shows having overall better matches, but how many of them had the return of CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Adam Cole? Not many. Not any of them, so low-key, I might say this is my favorite AEW show just because then. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, y'all know I was losing my fucking shit. I posted fucking video clips, reactions of me right when it happened, because I kind of suspected something was gonna happen. Then after Adam Cole, I was like, this can't be it. This can't be it. So I recorded it. So I started recording again, and bam, there's Daniel Bryan, and you see me just lose it. So yeah, check them out on my Twitter. I've already uploaded them by the time this is already out. If I remember, I'll leave links to them down in the description box below so you guys can just go look at the tweet there without having to search for them. But yeah, man, this was a fantastic show. A lot of great matches. But yeah, man, without further ado and enough of me rambling, let's just jump right in. So we started the show off with Shawn, Kingston, and Miro. This was a great match to start off the show. Of course, the crowd was actually really into Shawn Kingston's match. They really wanted to win, but of course, Miro retained the championship. And can we all say that the ref was a fucking dumbass in this match? Bruh. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But overall, the match was really good. You have, of course, was very hard hitting. You have Miro throwing Shawn Kingston all over the barricades. You had him blocking the Colossus, and Shawn Kingston barely managed to get to the bottom rope. And Miro's face of just Nani? It was funny. I thought it was pretty funny. Shawn Kingston also hit his suicide dive as well on Miro. Crazy shit went down. And then we get to around the latter half of the match, where Shawn Kingston hits the DDT. Well, first off, they were in the corner, and then Miro, I believe it was Miro, rips off the turnbuckle pad on the turnbuckle, leaving the turnbuckle exposed, and then he drops the thing, and then Miro counters, and then Shawn Kingston counters Miro, whatever Miro was going to do, into a DDT, and goes for the pin. But while he's pinning for a good maybe 5 seconds, and the ref is fucking around with the turnbuckle pad until he realizes, oh shit, there's a pin. Rushes over there. He doesn't instantly go down. He rushes over and jumps over him, I guess, to make sure he can see the shoulders, and then starts counting. And of course the rest of the crowd were like, what the fuck is this shit? And the crowd was straight chanting, you fucked up, which he kinda did. And then As if the rest wasn't enough of a fucking dumbass. After that, we then had then Shawn Kingston goes to throw Miro into the exposed turnbuckle, but the ref gets between them for whatever reason. I don't know to stop it to not get disqualified. I don't fucking know. But regardless, he just sits there like, oh yeah, and then Miro starts grabbing at him. Of course, hits him with a low blow, and then Miro hits him with his kick to, of course, win the match. Yeah, man. I mean, me personally, I wasn't really too into this match beforehand. I didn't even really know it was even on the card, to be fair. But I really enjoyed it. I actually thought throughout the match, and yeah, it looks like Shawn Kingston might win the match. But of course, Miro retained. The crowd wanted Shawn Kingston to retain, but Miro retained the title. Overall, a solid match to start off the show. And also, one other thing I thought was interesting is that Shawn, when the crowd was chanting, I don't know what they were chanting. They were maybe chanting "Let's go, Shawn" or something. Shawn started moving his shoulders to the chant to the crowd or something. I thought that was interesting. But anyway, next up we had Jon Moxley versus I'm probably gonna butcher his name. Satoshi Kojima. Probably has no relation to Hideo fucking Kojima. But yeah, you guys know me. I don't really keep up with New Japan that much. You guys know I always try to at least watch Wrestle Kingdom every year. I enjoy me some New Japan. I just not find the time to ever keep up with it as much as I would probably like to. So I had no idea who the hell this guy was before this match. And overall, this was another great match. You had these guys hitting Satoshi hitting Jon Moxley with a bunch of some rapid fire chops. And actually, when they start off the match, Satoshi offered a handshake or whatever as a sign of respect to Jon Moxley, and Jon just gives him the finger. Which I thought was pretty funny. Later on in the match, they actually start biting they start biting each other's faces, which was kind of funny. Jon starts to attack his hand. He stomps on it before he starts attacking on the hand. There was also this this one spot where I don't even know what the hell this move is even called, where Jon Moxley had Satoshi up for a suplex. He puts him up in the suplex position and then suplexes him like you normally do, but instead of keeping him up and holding on to him and going through the whole arm, basically he gets him up to when he's in the air and then lets him drop to the floor. It was a nasty spot, but I'm like, God damn, and then you also have Jon Moxley also locked in a cross arm breaker later on in the match, and eventually we ended the match up with Jon Moxley hitting with two paradigm shifts to, of course, win the match. Now, the best part of this match wasn't even the match itself. It's what happened after the match. Because after the match, Jon did his thing and showed respect to Satoshi Kojima. But then, Minoru Suzuki's entrance music starts playing. He comes out to the ring. I was hyped because even though I'm not big on, I don't really keep up with New Japan and don't really know much about a majority of its roster, really only a handful of guys, I know of Minoru Suzuki. And I kind of know of his legacy and how he's the villain or the boogeyman of New Japan. And how hard hitting he is, and so I was like, oh, him and Jon Moxley, a guy from fucking modern day ECW, basically in GCW or whatever that promotion's called. I can't remember the name of it, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. So I was like, okay, and I think these two guys did wrestle in New Japan once. I think it might have been over the IWGP US title. Don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. But so I was like, okay. Now I was getting kind of hyped because these two because I would love to see a match between these two. They would fit perfect with each other. So they get in the match, so he gets in the ring. They just kind of just sit there and talk to each other before they just start going after each other. They were having a chop off. It was just awesome watching these guys in the ring. The crowd was losing their shit. I was losing my shit on the possibility of seeing it. But now that the forbidden door has been opened, and then Minoru Suzuki just fucking pile drives Jon Moxley for his troubles and leaves the ring. And then later on in the show, we found that we will be getting this match on Dynamite this week, rather. I was not saying next week, we're getting it this week. So yeah, I'm hyped for that. That's going to be an awesome match for Dynamite, and I'm looking forward to that one, because that one should be good and very hard hitting. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, Jon Moxley's arm also got scratched up somewhere in this match. I don't know when, but I know his arm was bleeding a bit in the latter half of this match. I don't know what it was from. But anyway, So next up was Chris Stanlander and Britt Baker. This was a fucking awesome match. Britt Baker has gotten a lot better since she's come to AEW. She's gotten a lot better in the ring, and she is honestly probably one of the best women that they got there in AEW. Excuse me, currently. Chris Stanlander is also pretty good as well. I enjoy both of these women, and they put on a hell of a match tonight. So, we actually started off the match off a little bit, really somewhere around the beginning, where Chris goes for her usual, boop thing. But Britt, of course, swats out of the way, but then, Britt, Chris, counters it or something, or grabs Britt's hand, and then just, boops her with, her own hand, which I thought that was pretty funny. So, anyway, the match continues on, and yes, we will talk about the spot. We will go over to the spot where the entire crowd lost their collective shit. But anyway... So later on in the match, you have Britt actually go out. They're on the outside, and actually, and Chris was gonna go for her, goes for the pendulum moonsault, but she ends up just splatting onto the ground. Britt gets out of the way, and as she's on the ground trying to get back up, Britt hits a fucking curb stop from the steps. When I saw this, I even tweeted out Seth Rollins after he saw that curb stop. It was like a gif of Samoa Joe nodding, because I'm which I will say, it is cool seeing Britt Baker use the curb stop, but I will say this. Her curb stop is nowhere near as clean as Seth Rollins. It doesn't look nearly as good as when Seth does it. When Seth does the curb stop, it is a work of art. It is a thing of beauty. It's one of my all-time favorite finishes. Britt, for some reason, whenever I look at her doing, she just doesn't get it just right. It's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's just not as smooth. It's just not as clean as when Seth does it. I don't know about y'all, but that curb stop looked fucking awesome. So then she's on the ground, Britt's in the ring, the ref is doing the count and everything, and then, Orange Cassidy is kind of worried, but then the man rips his glasses off and starts screaming at this woman, telling her to get the fuck up and get back into her. Everyone in the crowd started losing their shit. Me too, I was like, what the Fuck? Even, Tony Schiavone on commentary was like, where the hell did that come from? So once she gets back into the ring, they continue to fight. They continue to brawl. You also had somewhere in the match where Britt goes in for the lockjaw, but it then starts a series of counters of Chris getting out of there, trying to into pins and shit. That was pretty cool. But later on in the match, Britt goes up to the second row, holds out the double guns, and hits a Panama fucking sunrise. Yes, and it looked pretty good, too. I mean, to be fair, it should have looked good. She's dating Adam Cole, for God's sakes. She better actually do the Panama Sunrise correctly. She better know how to do it. But yeah, I, along with everybody else, was into it. Even my man Eli Moore, he texted me seconds after that spot and said "Bay Bay" to me, and I lost my shit. I think I even tweeted out Adam Cole Bay Bay or something like that. What happens? I was losing my shit. The crowd was losing their shit. Everybody was losing their shit after that stop. So she goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. She then goes for another curb stop. 1, 2, kick out, and we end the match off with Britt going in for the lockjaw, and of course Chris Stanlander tapping out, and Britt Baker retains title. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, I loved Britt's outfit she had for this match, black and red. You guys know I'm a sucker for that, and I thought it looked really good. So yeah, Britt Baker retains the championship, and this was definitely a fantastic women's match, and probably, as JD said on Twitter, probably her best match as AEW champion so far. It was a fantastic match. Then we had the tag team championships between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. Holy fuck. This match was fucking awesome. This was without doubt the match of the night. Now, if you guys have watched my reviews for when they had their first two matches at All Out, or Double or Nothing and All Out, you guys know that I absolutely adored those matches. Those two matches we had there for those two shows. And for this one, I think it's water. And for this one, I didn't know if they were even going to remotely top themselves from what they had from those two previous matches on pay-per-view. Boy, was I wrong. This match is honestly probably my favorite out of the trilogy. I didn't think they could top after what we got it all out in that TLC match, whatever it was. But yo, this steel cage match was arguably better. This match was absolutely, and I am not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna try and recap this match. match because it was too good, too long, too much craziness for me to remotely do this match any justice. So I'll just talk about some of my favorite spots and we'll move on to the next match. So, first up, we actually had the Lucha Bros come out with, I guess, the guy that does their entrance coming out and doing the song for them live. And then the Lucha Bros came. They were wearing like these big ass like headdresses. Don't know if this is supposed to be like I don't know if it was supposed to be like some Mayan Inca type shit or whatever. But yeah, they came out with these massive headdresses. The Young Bucks came out, of course, soon after. And they, of course, got to the steel cage match. Match was saying everyone was getting thrown into the cell, getting spiked in there. You had super kicks galore. Like a double super kick that from the Lucha Bros that got countered, and like one of the Bucks didn't get a win. They ended up hitting each other. BTE trigger where the Young Bucks hit each other's knees. You later then had a fucking RKO out of nowhere party where everybody was countering a move into an RKO from out of nowhere. And I'm like, I was like, what the hell? Everyone was countering moves into RKOs. And I know someone's gonna be like, the cold cutters, you dumb shit. I don't give a damn if that's what the move's called. I call it an RKO because that's what it is. Let's be real. RKO is far more iconic than fucking cutter. But anyway, let's move on. Everyone was hitting RKOs. I was just like, at this point, I was slumped on my chair, like, I can't take this. This match is too epic. But no, they kept raising the bar. Then later on, one of the Bucks had their like stooge legit throw like this pouch he had over the steel cage. Which, mind you, that steel cage has to be like what? 20 feet? In the air, 20 feet high, 10, 15 feet, 20 feet high. He launches it and yeets it all the way over the top, the top of the cage. So shout outs to him. He got one hell of a throwing arm. And we find in the butt, and I believe it was Matt, takes off his shoe, one of his Jordans, and then grabs out this other shoe, which is a Jordan as well. Okay, can someone explain to me this? And like you had Don Callis, the commentary, mentioned these are like $5,000 shoes. If these are like legit $5,000 Jordans, why the hell is the Nike logo backwards? I've noticed that with the Bucks with some of their shoes they pick out. Why is the Nike logo backwards? Is that an actual thing? Is that a fashion choice? Does Nike actually make these shoes, or are these Jordans actually fake? And that's the whole joke. Can someone explain to me why is the Nike logo backwards? It looks fucking terrible. Why? Is it a style thing? Why? Can someone please explain to me this? Please. Anyway, he throws in there, and the shoe on the like sole part is covered in thumbtacks. And of course, you had chants of "you sick fuck," all over the arena. Then, like, of course, then you had the Bucks also. This scene was pretty funny. The Young Bucks were like ripping at the Lucha Bros match, and you had Don Callis College saying, "We don't care about their customs." That shit fucking killed me, man. Legit, I expect that line to get memed to shit. Hopefully it does, because I love that line. We don't care about their customs. But yeah, so the dude puts the shoe on and then hits both of the Lucha Bros onto this thumbtacked shoe. Of course, they start bleeding everywhere. I believe even Nick got hit with the shoe, or it might have been Nat, or both of them. I forget. This match was too crazy for me to remember. And then you also had them. You also had like Matt. I believe they went for like the Meltzer driver from the top rope, but instead of like the Meltzer driver, he like kind of like just like launches himself, and he like hit like that shotgun drop kick thing that Dan Bryan uses off the top rope, and like lands on like Ray Phoenix, I think it was. You also had. Then later on, they like the Lucha Bros, and then you also had like package pile drivers from both Matt and Pentagon. Like they hit him at the same time when they went to the ring, had a little stare up before they started punching each other. You also had where Ray Phoenix was going to get hit with this thumbtack shoe, but Pentagon blocked it to try and protect him. That was fucking cool. Then Ray Phoenix decided, fuck it, I'm going to the top of the cell. And it looks like they were going to go for like a package pile driver from way up there. While Pentagon had him up in the position. I don't know what Ray Phoenix was going to do on the top cell, but that obviously got countered, and he ended up just doing a crossbody from off the cell. Fucking insanity, man. But yeah, they ended up winning the match with I think it was a package pile driver. At this point, I was dead in the match, and like the Lucha Bros become your new AEW Tag Team Champions, which I was really happy to see. I love the Lucha Bros. I love Pentagon especially. And yeah, man, this match was fucking awesome. Without a doubt, that was the highlight of the show, and probably will end up being one of my favorite matches of the year. I would have to say this match was too damn good. This match was too good, man. So then, after, and of course, you also had Pentagon like celebrating with his family a little bit later on after the cell was risen and everything. Fucking insanity. So then after the match, we also then had the Women's Battle Royal, which honestly I didn't really care for. Hikaru Shida was actually seen for once, which that was nice to see. She was actually the first one to make her entrance, which was kind of shocking, which I don't know if it's about you guys. I don't know if I might have missed it, but I'm pretty sure this was actually the first time we've seen Hikaru Shida on a main AEW show since she's lost the title. Where the hell has Hikaru Shida been on Dynamite? We have this woman has been MIA for months now. Like, ever since she lost the title, I don't think she's made a single appearance on Dynamite or Rampage. Now, I'm sure someone's like, oh, she's been on Dark, or whatever, but I don't watch Dark, so. But, like, tell me down below, is this actually her first appearance since Dynamite, since, she lost the title? Because I swear to God, we haven't seen this woman on a main AEW show since then. But, so it was cool to finally see Hikaru Shida again. So that was cool, because you guys know how much I fucks with Hikaru. But anyway, the match continues on. I'm not going to really talk much about most of the match, other than you had Abaddon get eliminated pretty quickly. You had Anna Jay, or I'm assuming the chick's name, the muscular black chick. I'm not Big Swole, the other one, the tall one. I'm slipping on the chick's name. But she ends up like yeeting someone off the top rope, which looked really impressive. So shout out to her, I guess. But anyway, we find out who the mystery person was going to be who made their appearance, which we know was a Joker card. Now, before the match started, I tweeted out completely as a joke, fully knowing this wasn't going to happen. I tweeted out. Let me see if I can find the tweet. It was like, yeah, here it is. I wonder if there'll be any surprise entries with the gif of AJ Lee. Now, like I said, I tweeted this mostly as a joke, fully expecting it not to happen. I was like, we got Punk. I doubt we're gonna get AJ Lee back because I think she said she had back issues or something. That's kind of why she had to retire. I think so. I'm not be wrong on that one, but I think so. She had some back issues. Anyway, we end up finding out who the mystery opponent, who the mystery Joker character was, and it was actually Ruby Riott, or Ruby Sugo, I believe is what she goes by now. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. It was nice to see Ruby Riott again. Which of course the crowd gave her a huge standing ovation, and the match ended up being between Ruby Riott and Thunder Rosa, which I was like, okay, now we're talking, because I love Thunder Rosa. Ruby Riott, I'm gonna be real, I'm very indifferent towards her. I was never really that big on her back when she was in WWE, but I never watched her when she was in NXT. And JD swears by her, saying she was one of the best wrestlers there. So hopefully now she's on AEW, she can find flourish. I'm gonna see how good she really is, because, like I said, when I was watching her on Raw and SmackDown or whatever, I'm like, didn't really think much of her, honestly, but maybe her on AEW will end up changing my mind. We'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, Ruby Riott ends up winning, or Ruby Sugo ends up winning the match, which I was extremely happy about. I thought it could have been either one of them, but I was glad that they gave the rub to Ruby Riott. So that was pretty cool. Then next up, we had Chris Jericho and MJF. This match was fucking awesome. I love this match. So we started the match off, before the match even begun, with their entrances. And we had Chris Jericho's classic countdown back when he made his first debut on Monday Night Raw, again with The Rock and everything. And I'm looking at this count and it has the sound effects and everything, the boom, damn, boom, damn, the sound effect, the countdown, and everything. I'm like, yo, are we getting break the walls or something? What the fuck's going on? And then oh, I love MJF. And then the text says, Jericho's final match, and it ends up being MJF just trolling everyone. I died when this happened. I was like, then I tweeted out, you gotta love MJF, man. He said, seriously, this shit is fucking hilarious. So then we actually had Chris make his entrance. He had one of, I guess his guitarist on Fozzy, doing the instrumental for Judas. And with the fans supposed to be singing it, although it didn't turn out as well, especially when back in, Houston or whatever, when they had when during the labors of Jericho, where he couldn't use Judas and he couldn't also use his theme, and the crowd was still singing it perfectly. Anyway, that did not happen here. It was fine, but definitely could have been a lot better. But anyway, this match was awesome. MJF, gets out of the ring like around the start of the match. They start going at it. We see MJF hit a fucking moonsault off the second rope onto the outside, which was shocking. Then you also had another spot where Chris Jericho hits his lion salt from the second rope, and he had to go a bit's ways to get MJF, but he still hit it beautifully. Then there was another spot where you had Chris remembered his time with Kevin Owens and hit MJF with a pop-up powerbomb onto the apron, and I'm like, yo, pop-up power, I'm like, yo, did Chris remember his time with Kevin Owens and decide, just to do the pop-up powerbomb? But then after that, MJF is selling his lower back for like the rest of the match. And he does it beautifully. But man, I don't know about y'all, I couldn't stop laughing my ass off throughout the entire time MJF is selling it. Because the dude looks like an 80-year-old man being like, my back! It was like that, or fucking Tobey Maguire when he hit against the cars in Spider-Man 2 after he fell down from the roof of the building, be like, my back, oh my back. I couldn't help but laugh. But then for some reason, this dude quote tweets me, who apparently follows me, and I follow him. I don't even remember following this guy. He tweets at me, like I said, MJF, and I said MJF looks like an 80-year-old man with a laughing emoji, and this dude says, did you see my tweet about MJF fans not understanding selling? I wasn't bullshitting. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? So that was weird. But anyway, so then later on, Chris Jericho hits I think it was a back suplex or something off the top rope or whatever. I don't really remember completely what it was. But then MJF is screaming his head off, and the way but shout out to MJF, this man can fucking sell. Shout outs to him. But the way this man's screaming, it was like Batman after he got his back broken by Bane in Batman Nightfall. He was like, ah! I'm like, God damn, it was a hellish scream. So shout outs to MJF. But anyway, then later on in the match, when Aubrey got distracted with Wardlow and everything going on, and MJF hits Chris with the Floyd, then hits him with the Judas effect. Aubrey counts 1, 2. Chris gets his leg onto the rope, but Aubrey keeps counting to 3, and the match is over. The crowd, of course, is booing him out of the building. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was screaming at my TV and even tweet out, Aubrey, turn the fuck around. You can clearly see Chris Jericho's foot is on the bottom rope, but then thankfully a ref came in there, telling her, hey, his foot on the bottom rope, restart the match. So they restart the match, and MJF is like, no! So then he keeps going on, and I think so they go at each other for another while, countering into pinfalls constantly. But Chris hits, but then Chris lands him into the wall to Jericho, and MJF eventually taps out to, of course, Chris winning the match. Now this match I fucking love. This was probably my second. This might have been my second favorite match of the night, Loki. Or third. It was definitely one of my favorites. I love this match. I was kind of curious with this match and if they were actually going to go for it. Because I could very easily see them letting MJF take this dub and really just putting him over, just making him this super godlike heel like Roman Reigns, currently is with the Tribal Chief gimmick. Making him just super Halo by having him retire Chris Jericho. But at the same time, I'm like, is Chris really going to retire? I could see it gone other way, but Chris ends up winning the match. I don't really see a problem with this. I don't think that we should be saying that MJF is buried or anything, but because let's be real, MJF at this point is fucking bulletproof. MJF is so amazing, man, and also the MJF was tearing up signs as well. That was pretty funny when they went out to the outside and fought. But yeah, man, this was a fantastic match. So then next up we had Big Show versus QT Marshall. Why was this on the card? Legitimately, why was it on the card? You couldn't say this for a Dynamite or Rampage? Did you really have to put this on All Out? Especially, why this close to the end of the show? I feel like this match should have been around the beginning of the show. Why is this after Chris Jericho, but before the main event? That doesn't make sense. Oh, wait, I almost forgot about the other match. We can't talk about that match first. We have another match before that. CM Punk. I was almost going to forget about the CM Punk match. I don't know how that happened, but we'll talk about QT a little bit later. So CM Punk, I almost forgot about. I don't know how I forgot about this match, about Punk's match, but I ended up doing it anyway. So let's talk about that before we go into QT Marshall. So anyway, this match, of course, was probably my most anticipated match of the night. CM Punk, first time coming back in 7 years. We were all excited. We were all interested to see how he was going to look in the ring after being gone for 7 years. And man, CM Punk looks like he hasn't missed a day. This man wrestled like as if he didn't go away for 7 years. This man did not lose a single beat. He looked amazing into the ring, and yeah, man, it was like the man wasn't even gone for 7 years. I guess it is true when he says he is the best in the world, because the man was gone for 7 years, yet there was like no ring rust or anything. No botches, no nothing. So shout out to him. But one thing I thought that was kind of interesting was Punk was actually wearing pants, which I thought was weird. Because I was shocked by that, because I was expecting Punk to come out in his traditional wrestling gear. You know, the trunks with the boots thing. But he still came with the boots thing, but I was like shocked they were like, oh wait, he's actually wearing pants now? Okay, because I thought he was going to come back in his trunks, like he used to, but I don't know if this was something Punk wanted to try out, and maybe next time we see him in the ring, he'll be back to the trunks, or this is what he's going to be wearing for the rest of his run for AEW. Either way, don't really mind it. It's probably taking me some time to get used to seeing Punk in pants rather than his trunks, but whatever. Anyway, Punk, of course, got this huge reaction from the crowd because, of course, he did, and CM Punk. But yeah, Darby Allin also. I was actually expecting Darby Allin to get booed out of the building because he's going up basically Chicago's God. But that didn't happen. He also got a huge reaction as well. I loved how the match started off, where Darby Allin was on the floor. He had his hands by the ropes, and then when CM Punk gets in the ring, he sits cross-legged. They just kind of stare at each other for a bit, have a little bit of a standoff. Looked fucking sick, man. But anyway, the match begins, and it was fantastic. You had Punk hitting a GTS that instantly sends Darby out to the outside, which was pretty cool. Other times Punk went for the GTS, but of course Darby countered it. You have later on Punk actually did the whole thing with his hands and putting his face against his hands, which got a huge pop out of me because I'm like, yes, he did the thing, which I haven't seen 7 years. So that was fucking cool. Darby actually does it too later around the end of the match and goes for a coffin, which I was first that got a massive heat from the crowd. He goes for the coffin drop while Punk is just laying there out on the floor. He is a newbie. But then once Darby goes for the coffin drop, Punk sits up like he's the Undertaker and Darby just splats onto the mat. I was laughing my ass off, and Punk is just as this huge smile before he goes for the pin, which Darby ended up countering into another pin and almost got the win. But of course, later it looked like Darby was honestly, I thought Darby was going to maybe sneak out a win a couple times because it started to get a little crazy around the end. But CM Punk hits the GTS for the 1, 2, 3. Fantastic match. Loved it. Punk didn't miss a single beat. He, like I said before, the man looks like he hasn't hasn't been gone for 7 years. It's like the man wrestled just last week on Dynamite or something. He looked fantastic, man. CM Punk still got it as far as I'm concerned, man. But now back to Big Show and QT Marshall. So anyway, I did not care about this match, and honestly, guys, once this match came on, I didn't even really watch this match. You want to know what I did while this match was on? I went to the J, which is a cafeteria here at Humboldt, and grabbed my dinner. But you guys wondering what I got? I got 2 hot dogs and some chicken tenders. Yeah, and so then I rushed back here because it took a little bit longer than it was expected because there was only one guy at the grill for whatever reason, and then rush here so I can actually catch the main event. But yeah, Big Show wins. Who cares? Next. So then we had the main event between Christian and AJ and Kenny Omega. This match was also fucking awesome in its own right, man. They started off fast and furious with Kenny Omega going for a V trigger, but then Christian counters it into a kill switch, but ends up getting countered again, and we started going at it. So these guys went crazy. You actually had Don Callis, of course, was getting involved throughout the match. You had it where he was distracting the ref, and Kenny got a table, threw it on top of Christian, and jumped from the apron onto him, which broke the table. Then later on, we had a spear spot where Christian speared MJ. I don't know. I keep saying MJF. Kenny Omega into the table onto the floor. It looks like he even like hit his ribs a little bit from the spot. But then afterwards, he started attacking his back a lot. But they both got back in the ring. They both were like spearing each other. Like Kenny hit like one spear from the back, then a spear from the front as well. Blood. You also saw like Christian's mouth was like filled with blood. So I guess both Edge and Christian were returning to their vampiric roots for their latest pay-per-view appearances, I guess. But you had that, of course. Kenny was focusing a lot on Christian's neck with a bunch of Snapdragon suplexes. But we ended the match off with Christian on the top rope, going for a super kill switch. But Kenny counters it. You also, of course, had Gallows and Anderson come in there, get involved into the match, which brought its own bit of insanity. But anyway, Kenny goes for the super kill switch. Kenny counters it to the one-winged angel, jumps off from the top rope, hits the one-winged angel for the 1, 2, 3. Fantastic match, man. And of course, after that, this is when all hell broke loose. Adam Cole makes his appearance, which as I said, I lost my shit. Then everyone. Then he like first off Kenny and like the Bucks and everyone were attacking Christian. Then Jungle Boy and Jungle Express rather came to try and help him, but that didn't do much. Then Adam Cole makes an appearance. He super kicks Jungle Boy, and it was like, oh, Kenny's Adam's our best friend, man. Like, and he's part of the crew and everything. Back with the Elite, and you also had like the Young Bucks kiss him on the cheek. Which I'm sure it's like probably like a Being the Elite reference. I don't know. I don't watch Being the Elite, but I'm sure it's some sort of reference back when Kenny was when Adam was in Ring of Honor or something. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so you had that. Then Kenny's like, oh, nobody can touch me. Anyone who could have beat me is not here, retired or dead. Blah, blah, blah. And he does this whole, and because I want to make believe the people happy, I bid you adieu. He does this whole thing. And that's when Daniel Bryan music hits, and he comes to the ring, and I damn near shit myself in hype. I lost my shit. You guys know how much I love Daniel Bryan. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, tied with John Cena and Johnny Gargano. I loved it, man. He was the one I definitely lost my shit over the most between him and Adam Cole. So that was awesome. And of course, I was screaming yes at the top of my lungs when he was doing the yes kicks and everything. Oh, that was awesome. And Daniel Bryan is on AEW, man. So we got Adam Cole, and Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk, all in the same brand. This shit's gonna get fucking insane, man. When can we get CM Punk and Daniel Bryan facing off? Can we please get this match already? When's are we getting the match? Is that gonna be on Dynamite? Or we can see that at fucking Full Gear? When are we getting Punk and Daniel Bryan? Please, give me the match right now. Please. But yeah, man, that's all I gotta say about the show. Fantastic show. Possibly the best AEW show ever, just because we had Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole make their appearances. But yeah, man, leave your thoughts down below in the comments below. Just love it, you hate it. What was your favorite match of the show? Which were you more hyped for? The return of Adam Cole or Daniel Bryan? Leave it all down in the comments, guys. And overall, let's look at my final verdict. Overall, McGuinness, give this show a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.